you know what I'm saying, overreact on a lot of things. I'm just gonna say I hated the onside kick call. I did because it was like, why? I get it. And Tony Romo defended Dan Campbell, said, "Listen, we haven't stopped him the whole game," and he was right about that. I mean, we hadn't stopped him, so he was just trying to maybe do something. But for the first time, I'm coming after Campbell. It was stupid. I mean, you know what I mean? I'd support Dan, but you cannot call that, man, at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? Stranger things have happened. What if Josh Allen goes out there, gets too cute, and throws an interception on the next drive? You know what I'm saying? You cannot give up a touchdown after you took the momentum right out of that building, man. The crowd wasn't the same today. You could just tell it was Buffalo's day. You know what I'm saying? Because the crowd was a non-factor. They jumped on us quick, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the blueprint. I think teams are gonna try to duplicate. What happened? It's a copycat league, man. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is going to take advantage of the trailing running back coming out of the backfield, streaking down the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying? Numerous amount of times it happened. I think Ty Johnson, former Lion, by the way, Ty Johnson, um, he had 100 yards in the first half. I think it was. You know what I mean? Just off 3 plays alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not falling off the handle. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, this one game. I get it. It is one game. But it's some stuff that's starting to creep up, man. The last 3 games since Thanksgiving, because I keep tabs on it. The defense hasn't. I mean, yeah, you put out a performance like we did against the Packers with a motivated guys off the street. I mean, obviously that was inspiring performance against the Packers. You know what I mean? But now, I mean, now that listen, we not getting any. Who else are we gonna get? You know what I'm saying? The guys we have now, that's the guys that are playing on this team. I mean, Melifonwu, Broderick Martin, Emmanuel Mosley, all those guys would be a non-factor at this point, and that's how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think they're going to come and save the day. You think Enos Rakestraw going to come and save the day for this team? I think this is what we have right now. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a problem. It could be, only because teams are later on in the season, playoffs, going to scheme against this team and try to, you know what I'm saying, and try to expose our we got exposed, man. The offensive line, that was probably the worst game I seen them play in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? They was Frank Ragnow was holding. Ed, Ed Oliver was an absolute monster out there. It was just the first time, well, in a long time, I seen us get overpowered. I haven't seen that. That was the only thing that's kind of disturbing. But it's got these kind of games happen. They do. But for the Lions, it's just weird because it never happens to the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been so good and so well coached, so prepared. Today, Buffalo was ready. And I let you take it away. Well, Josh Allen play like the MVP. He shut that down. It ain't no more talk of MVP. Josh Allen won that bad. And I said it 2 weeks ago. I said this game would probably solidify whoever's going to win the MVP. And Josh Allen solidified it, man. It ain't no question to me. Saquon Barkley has had a good year, but Josh Allen, the MVP of his team of the league, man, in my opinion. So
I agree with some of what you said. I'm gonna just put it out like this. I think for the past 12 weeks, people have been plotting on this day. We went on a 12-game winning streak, and after every game, it was yeah, but eventually those injuries gonna catch up with us. Then we go on to the next week and we win that game, and then yeah, but they're gonna eventually come up to us. The injuries are gonna eventually catch up to us,
hmm
caught up to us.
yeah,
And then we being honest about it, we damn near still snuck it out today. Now
you think
Buffalo
so?
dominant. Well, I mean, the thing is this, man. Whichever quarterback won this game, we was gonna say they was the MVP candidate. I mean, Golf balled too. He balled today too. Both quarterbacks balled today. But I don't think we got exposed. I mean, and I think that's as fans, when a team loses, that's always the first thing we run to is say a team got exposed. Buffalo did that. Now, does that mean the Bears are going to do that to us next week? They don't have Josh Allen. Like, they don't have Amari Cooper. They don't have Keon Coleman. Also, I'm not going to use the injuries as an excuse because when we won 12 straight, wasn't nobody really, at least me on the other hand, I wasn't really talking about the injuries like that. So I'm not going to sit up there and cry about the injuries today, but just keeping it a G, we was beat the hell up today. I mean, if Reeder and McNeil and Hutchinson and Davenport and Barnes and if we were at full strength or even half strength, we're not even at half strength right now. We down to third and fourth strength right now. If our regular defense or half of what our regular defense normally is would have been out there today and that would have happened, I would be with you. But this happened to a depleted front seven. And we also lost a couple guys today. Carlton Davis left out with a concussion. Aleem McNeil got carted off with a knee issue. So, I mean, Buffalo, I give Josh Allen credit. He's the MVP favorite right now, and he's a tremendous player. And I've been saying for the last few years, he's probably, next to Mahomes, he's probably one of my most favorite quarterbacks in the league to watch. But get one thing straight. He didn't do that against a legitimate front seven. The same way people like to put asterisks next to our wins, I'm gonna put one next to theirs because our defense was completely depleted. If this would have happened against our first team, or like I said, even half of what we normally have on defense, I'd be with you. But I can't sit back and watch a team win 12 straight games, then as soon as they lose a hard-fought game where they fought their asses off, I'm gonna say they got exposed. They just ran up against a hell of a team today and still nearly pulled it out. We just couldn't get it. We could have got 2 stops from defense throughout this game. It may have been different. Like I can't even really jump on him. Even the fourth, not the fourth down, but the onside kick call. That didn't cost us the game. Now, was it silly and unnecessary? Yeah, I think it was silly and unnecessary. But the defense wasn't getting any stops in the first place. So I take this game with a grain of salt. It was a game that we all knew was coming. We didn't lose 48-12. We didn't lose 48-20. We lost 48-42. Our offense fought, put up a hell of an effort. And with 3 games left, we are what we are. The Eagles are what they are. Arizona Cardinals are who they are. Seattle Seahawks, Vikings, Packers, everybody is who they are. All of these teams right now got a laundry long list of injuries. I don't think, and after this loss today, I don't walk away from it thinking any less of this team. Are we behind these guys now? Are we behind these guys? We still, even in a loss today, granted the defense was terrible, but that's not our real defense. That's what I keep trying to explain to people. What we saw today, to me, was a mirage. Do I expect, if we mess around and play this team in the Super Bowl, do I expect it to go that same way? And our defense is half healthy? No, I don't. Josh Allen jumped on a beat up ass defense today and looked great. He did what he was supposed to do. But I don't view this team any different. We all knew that this day was coming. And like I said, they still put up a serious effort and they still can walk out of it, I think, with their heads held high. Being honest about it, because if you look at what happened today, and you go back to the last game we lost against Tampa Bay back in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the numbers today, didn't have any, well, penalties, of course, but 15 carries, 15 rushing attempts. Now, granted, that was because we fell behind so early and had to throw. 15 rushing plays. We had 48 net rushing yards all day.
Yeah.
That right there is huge, but at the end of the day, we can't get mad at Ben Johnson for getting away from the running game because he had to. The Bills were on us tough all day.
They jumped on us, yeah.
Yeah, so that, say it's not like the 20-16 game with Tampa where the game was always in a one possession game or under and you just kept on throwing the ball just for the hell of it. You look at the third down percentages. We were 6 for 13 on third down. That was 46%. We was 3 for 3 on fourth down today. So that's one thing the media can't really kill them about this week coming up. But total plays, we ran 77 to 68 for them. They averaged 8.2 yards per play. Time of possession, 32 minutes, 42 seconds to our 27-18. There's not a lot of stats offensively that you can look at and say, well, that's the issue and that's the issue. Both defenses got burnt up today by two potent offensive attacks. And I think that's really what happened.
Yeah,
and,
you think the 42 points? I don't know. I think the last touchdown was kind of cheap touchdown to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the score
I mean,
looks
they were
like
still
it
playing
was,
hard
but
though.
Buffalo dominated
don't get
the game.
me wrong. They did.
I don't. We got a difference of opinion on that because I don't see how you
did
can
they
take
dominate
anything.
our offense? Because if we talking about offenses, like they dominated our defense and we dominated their defense. They couldn't get the stops either. They couldn't get the stops against the Rams last week. Now, granted, it looks better because Josh Allen looks better than Jared Goff does on the field or whatever, but they jumped on us really quick. And I think that's really what it was, but they still couldn't stop us offensively. That's the whole thing.
I just thought they took Dave Montgomery out the game. Remember, Dave Montgomery's a tone setter. And he was obsolete in this game, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They erased him, and that's only happened a couple times since like I said, maybe in the last couple years. Like you said, I do think personnel does matter. You know what I'm saying? So of course you could say, well, Josh Allen, ran all over our makeshift defense. But what I'm saying is, Barnes been gone since week 3 or 4, whatever it was. I'm just saying the team we fielding out there now. You know what I mean? I just think there's something to be had. There's some flaws there. I'm just saying now the stakes are higher now. You know what I'm saying? The beginning of November, is different from playing at the end of December and January. You know what I'm saying? And what I seen today was, I seen stuff that we already know. We already know we can score points. I wanted to see pressure quarterback. I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Josh Allen doesn't allow you to get pressure. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's some red flags, man. A little bit. It's some red to me. You know what I mean? As far as defensively, offense, we fine. I think that's what makes us still, in all of these games, that people are going to have to match our points, and then we're going to have to play the bend don't break on defense. You know what I'm saying? It's ironic that we in this spot. Of course, I don't think that we're as bad as 48 points bad defensively. I don't know. No, I think we're somewhere in the middle, though. We're somewhere between. We're not an elite defense. That's for sure. I mean, I've heard that a couple times, but I don't know, man. I don't think that this game can be taken with a grain of salt. Hopefully, I think that you're gonna put something like this in the rearview mirror. I just didn't like the domination of our offensive line. I haven't seen that, man. You know what I'm saying? That shows to me it's a chink in the armor a little bit because I seen Ragnow holding like crazy. I seen Glasgow get beat constantly. Taylor Decker. They just got beat up. I haven't seen. I was shocked because I haven't seen us. We've always been in control of that. We always check that box every Sunday, and we did.
Can we just have a game though?
Yeah.
And I think as fans, sometimes we need to just take a step back. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. Can we just sometimes just take a step back and say our team just had a game?
Of course.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that we frauds. It doesn't necessarily mean we got exposed. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're not anywhere near as good as 12-2 says. Because we still won 11 straight games.
Yeah.
I believe. And I get it. As football fans, man, we live and die on a week-to-week basis with these games. And you're 12-1, you're good. You're great.
Yeah.
You're Super Bowl contenders. You lose a game, and everybody was waiting on us to lose. We was waiting on them to lose because everybody knew we wasn't just gonna keep winning.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to eventually put us out, eventually put that flame out.
I
But
just think
I
that
think that we're fine, man. Is there any positive way we could have lost this game that people wouldn't be negative towards the team though? Like if
I
it
just
was 17-10, would people be any more positive about it, or is it just we was waiting on this shoe to fall, so we just got to kill them for it?
well, I'm just gonna say, okay, early reports are Dan Campbell just said that Lee McNeil and Carlton Davis could be out for the season.
Yep.
So that
Yep, and
so
I ain't want to say that shit because
you could
I was
just
waiting on somebody. I was waiting to see if somebody in the comments would bring it up because I haven't had a chance to check it. But yeah, well, your boy Dorsey probably out too.
Yeah, well,
Dorsey
oh
probably
yeah,
going to.
exactly. Yep. Khalil Dorsey, and I'm just saying, man, that to me, team's going to expose that, man. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? What I'm saying is, if they know you're weak up the middle, that's where they going, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ty Johnson. It was a beautiful game plan because Ty Johnson just kept running. They said, listen, Jack Campbell's the only guy they got basically is a sure tackler. You know, on this team, and we're gonna make him run. We're gonna spread him out. We're gonna make him go in the slot. We're gonna make him do this. You know what I'm saying? And it was basically it was Jack Campbell can't cover everybody. You know what I'm saying? So now I think it's gonna be a problem, man. That's all I'm saying. Moving forward, of course, can they go out and beat the Bears? The Bears ain't shit. We can beat the Bears. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But okay, have that. We can't have this same energy today, and we playing a Rams team that come in here in Ford Field in the divisional
We
round.
might can beat them too.
It might be some,
I still think
you
we
know.
better than some teams though. Like I still think Philly still kind of flawed. Philly, they showed out against Pittsburgh a little bit today, but
Yeah,
I get it, man. And me and you talked about this weeks ago.
yeah,
The middle of the defensive line we felt was the one part of the team that we couldn't lose or
yeah.
start losing guys. And now you're talking about Reader been gutting it out, dealing with a shoulder injury. He's beat up down the stretch,
Hmm.
but everybody's beat up. I think, man, whoever you are, week 17, week 18, going to the playoffs is who the hell you are.
Yeah.
Everybody. And we're gonna end up being a team that's gonna have to score. And I think something else, man, that people haven't paid attention to either the last like 3 games, almost 4 games.
Hmm.
Them picks, them turnovers, that turnover bug that was benefiting us slowed down and dried out. So
Yeah.
we not forcing them turnovers no more either. Creating short fields, getting Jared to them extra possessions. We playing more straight up games now. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times a bad defense gets hidden when you can force a lot of turnovers. But when
Yeah.
you're not forcing them turnovers and teams, well, everybody ain't just marching the ball up and down the field on us. I will say this though. I was worried, and I didn't tell you this after the Green Bay game, but I was concerned because I felt like after the Green Bay game, the first half against Green Bay, well, actually the first quarter and a half, they were struggling.
Yeah.
Midway through the second quarter, through the fourth quarter, Green Bay was on us. And then Buffalo picked up right where Green Bay left off and shredded our defense all day.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
I am concerned about that. I do think over the past few weeks after that Houston Texas game, the more beat up we got, the more pieces you started taking off us, the more weaker that defense started looking. And it seemed like it was just a week ago that we was giving AG props about the second half shutouts and not letting, making the proper adjustments and not allowing teams to really hit a stride offensively in the second half of these games. And I'm not blaming him for this. The man doing the best he can with what he's got left. And for these idiot ass fans out here, and I'm gonna call them that. If you calling for this man's job, AG, if you calling for this man's job after the day, you've been waiting to play that damn card all season. Because you couldn't play it when we was winning. You couldn't play it when the dude was holding everybody under 20. But the moment a shit game like this happens, you want this man fired. I can't stand them type of fans. Those are those fans that got those ulterior motives that have nothing to do with football whatsoever. I seen people after the onside kick call calling for Dan Campbell's job. Now, do I take these people as real fans? No. I think a lot of those fans are fans that come from a certain section of the fan base who they're so used to being negative towards this team, they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So the moment something go wrong, oh, the Lions lost today.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get my negative shit together. That's what they do. I
Yeah.
bet you on that radio station tomorrow, somebody gonna bring that up about firing this man
Yeah.
or him being the weak link on the team. Somebody's gonna bring it up. Do I agree with the call? No. I don't think it cost us though. I can
Mhm.
look at things from your point of view, not necessarily yours, but I can look at things from a person's point of view and still not agree. I see why he did it. He didn't want to keep throwing that defense back out there, and we eventually saw. Yeah, they went for that onside kick and didn't get it. And what happened after that? Score.
Score.
Just
Yeah.
scored again.
Quickly.
So yeah, it's.
But I
I
just
don't
think
know,
that
man.
at that point of the game, the way I get it, we haven't stopped was 38-28, and we hadn't stopped them a
12 minutes.
ton of time left. And I just
12
feel
minutes.
at that point you let the game play out. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I get we haven't stopped them, but man, it could be a fumble, it could be a quick 3 and out. I just don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And this the first, and listen, like you said, for every time we always say Dan Campbell gambles and it works, and he looks like the smartest man on the field. But today, I'm not saying that's the reason why they lost the game today, but it was uncalled for. He didn't have to really do it. That's all. And then the
It
Buffalo with
wasn't
good
good
teams
coaching.
too. Yeah, what good teams do, you put your team in a bad spot, man. You know what I'm saying? Period. You had them go out there and just just dejected. I just thought that this was the first time that showed with this team, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the coach, you could tell like they're just players dropping their heads down. I think the injuries are piling up. It's starting to mentally. It's starting to. Obviously, if you're worried about getting hurt,
Piling up. We under the pile.
yeah,
we done
like
for. I ain't gonna say we done for. Let me not say that, but
no, but I'm just saying this, okay? With people talking about the big game in New Orleans, don't even say that right now because we so far from that, man. I mean,
we not
and
contenders. We
it's
can't
changed.
make it.
I'm just telling you, man. I've watched a lot of football in my day, just like you have, of course. But I just don't like the body language, man. I don't. It just we got away with it against the Packers. It just shows you the Packers are beatable team. Obviously, they obviously Green Bay looking damn good tonight against Seattle already. But it comes a time where you know what your team is, just like you said at the beginning of the show. We know what Seattle is, we know Chicago, we know all of these teams what they are. But I think you get so many injuries where you can't overcome it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like you said, the game planning is different. A lot of things, a lot of weird things got to happen. You asking me, do I still trust Jared Goff in this offense? Of course I do. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna, and of course they can still end up having a special season. Okay, but you're naive or you just looking at it through Lions color glasses if you're not concerned, man. I mean, especially if Carlton Davis doesn't play the rest of the season, if Lee McNeil, Pro Bowl, Lee McNeil don't play. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't get my hopes up with Broderick Martin, a guy who hasn't played, man. You know what I'm saying? Who still scratching the surface somewhat. Is it his fault? No. Like you said, it's nobody's fault. It's just that's the cards we're dealt this year, man. And to me, it just feels like I'm just gonna say this. Hopefully, we beat the Bears, okay? Because if we don't, then it will feel like it's slipping away a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not doom and gloom, but I'm just saying, man. I mean, the 49ers, Bears, Vikings. Listen, Vikings coming in here totally motivated. You think the Vikings ain't coming in here now thinking that we can beat this team? You know what I'm saying? Even though, am I worried about Sam Darnold? Hell no. But my eyes see him playing good football. You know what I'm saying? I see they got two receivers that can do some damage. They got a running back that can do some damage. So our defense is struggling, man. And like you said, and it might not be, it's not even our control. It's not even our control right now. You know what I mean? I just didn't like the offensive line too. That's the main thing. If I had to take one negative thing, forget the coaching, the onside kick, idiocy. I didn't like offensive line got manhandled to me. You know what I mean? Ed Oliver was like, he wasn't buying it today. You know what I'm saying? Him, Johnson, Tyree Johnson. They
Yeah.
just they played inspired football, man. You could tell Buffalo was motivated. They was highly motivated to come in here and win, like you said, regardless of who's on the field. It's not that they don't care we got guys missing. You know what I'm saying? They coming out
Right.
like we trying to keep pace with the Chiefs. So
They got
yeah,
their own guys missing.
exactly. Green Bay looking good. They just scored again on Seattle, which I'm surprised. I thought Seattle would take care of business, but that's
It's I don't know, man. It's for me, we done seen so much of this so many times.
yeah.
You know, Detroit could go out next week, turn around because they haven't lost back-to-back games in about what 2.5 years.
Yep. It's
They
been
could
a
they could
long
turn
time.
around and destroy Chicago. They could turn around and eke one out against Chicago 17-14. I don't know.
Hmm.
Eagles could look not good next week. Remember this. The Eagles pretty much handled Pittsburgh today, but struggled like
Hmm.
a motherfucker
Yeah.
against Carolina.
Yeah.
So it happens. It happens on a week-to-week basis. If Carolina would have pulled out that last drive, what would people be saying about the Eagles right now? So I
Yeah.
think ultimately it all comes down to who wins and who loses. We win that game today against Buffalo. Jared Goff's the MVP favorite. And we're the most resilient football team ever. We lost everybody. It doesn't matter who we lose on defense. This team has the shining touch. But we lost that game, and it's a completely different story. So
Yeah.
everybody has their issues.
Yeah, and I'm
You know,
not being negative. Yeah, I don't want it to
no.
seem like I'm negative. I'm
I
not.
mean,
I
just
mean, it just things I see things, man, and I see Jamal Adams just running around. Just I now
no,
the
don't
lust
get me wrong. We
the
beat up. We have
yeah
no defensive line anymore.
yeah. So I don't know how you expect to win. That's my point.
Right.
And that's the reason why. Well, it's not like I don't think we're any good anymore. That's not it. You know what I'm saying? It just now it's like who the heck we gonna have to
Well, now it's more pressure on takeaways because
eh,
you honestly you have no defensive line anymore. Wingo's done for the year. He's been gone for the last couple weeks.
yeah.
Um, Reader's
Yeah.
in and out. McNeil may be done,
Hmm.
as you commented earlier for the season. Um, you don't have any bodies anymore. Even when Pascal is in there, Pascal is still. It seems like plays 2 games, miss a game.
Hmm.
Plays a
Yeah.
game, miss 2 games.
Yeah.
Plays the whole first half, leaves midway through the third quarter with something. So you can't really depend on him anyway. He's more of a flex defensive lineman anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I understand that defensive line is done. So
Yeah.
AG, and it's bad because it's you can call it unfair, but it's just sometimes it's just the draw of the cards.
Hmm.
He's
Yep.
had the most issues between him and Ben Johnson since they've been there for almost
Of
4 years.
course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Ben has had the good hand of health on offense. He hasn't had to lose anybody. Hasn't lost his quarterback. Hasn't lost any of his wide receivers. Haven't lost his running backs. Haven't lost his tackle. Well, he loses one tackle every now and then, but as much luck health wise as Ben Johnson has had on offense, AG then just been in the complete polar opposite direction, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair, bro. It's unfair that some people are coming down on him for this.
Yeah.
What
It's
do you
one
want the
game.
man to like? What do you want the
Yeah.
man to
Yeah. It's
do?
crazy. Like you
Like, what is he
said,
down to?
one game. Yeah, exactly. um, like you said, it's just disturbing trends. Like I said, it happened during the Chicago game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like that last drive. I'm just gonna think back, like Thanksgiving, the last drive. Remember when Eberflus made the mistake? Caleb Williams almost checked out of that play and won the game. If that ball would have been on point, Keenan Allen would have caught that ball, bro, for a touchdown. That was one. They escaped that one. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking back. Think about it. You play the Packers. Packers maybe I said if it was maybe 6 or 7 more minutes of that game, the Packers might have won. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we went out there and snatched it from them. It was like we escaped. You know what I'm saying? And then today happened. So and it's all rooted because of our injury. Not that I'm blaming it, but you can't have it both ways. It's like you can't say, well, they did good, they won that game because we were shorthanded, guys off the street. Well, today they look awful. Kwan Alexander and Jamal Adams was awful, man. They both was awful in my opinion.
Listen,
Um,
man, we talked
you know,
about Jamal Adams, man. I
yeah,
was called a hater. I was called Mr. Gloom and Doom. I'm always bringing up the negative end of everything. I tried to tell people, y'all heard Jamal Adams' name, and y'all applied that name to this dude that y'all remember from the Jets 3 years ago,
hmm
4 years ago. Like this man, the Jets quickly found out after 2 years this man couldn't play safety in the new NFL because he couldn't cover a lick.
yeah,
And if you put him in the box, he doesn't have a safety body like that. Doesn't have a linebacker body like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he was kind of out. He's kind of an outdated player. Like there was people talking about, oh, Adams gonna be here. He's about to be a focal point of the defense. I'm like, dude, like, have y'all paid attention to Jamal Adams the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Like this dude been in the doctor's office tremendously a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that there's gonna be games where I think the competition went up a couple notches today.
hmm Yep.
And our
That's
defense
all I'm saying.
saw it. The defense saw it. Okay, we
Yeah.
can't get by with the Jimmies and Joes today.
Right.
it,
Right. Exactly.
it ain't gonna
That's what I'm
work.
saying.
But we talking about what the Super Bowl 2 months away.
Play to
So
the competition level, but where everybody's good when you're gonna be playing, right? In the playoffs, everybody, the team's smart. They know what your weaknesses are. They know
and
uh
can't wait to expose you.
and can't wait to expose. Right. So that's all I'm saying. But like I said, the one thing, the smoking gun we got on this team is the offense. The offense is good. You know what I'm saying? The offense is all right. It's just
They
the
are
offensive.
defense right now.
Yeah, right. So can you win that way? Of course you can. You know what I'm saying? You can win that way, but everything got that offense cannot have. That's a lot of pressure on them boys now. You know what I'm saying? They cannot go out there and not have a good game. You know what I'm saying? Offensively, because it might cost us the game now. You know what I mean? And we haven't been in that spot all year. You know what I mean? It's been pretty much a team effort. You know what I'm saying? The defense was performing. They have had some good flashes this year. You know what I'm saying? But what the last 3 games, due to a makeshift rubber band bubblegum fixer upper, it's that we're having some issues, man. You know what I mean? And do next week pose a little threat, maybe just because it's a division game outside, 3 days before Christmas, it's going to be cold in Chicago. So, they want nothing more than probably to try to ruin our season, that type of thing. So they're going to be highly motivated to do it. But can they do it? The personnel, I don't think they can do what the Bills did today. You know what I mean? Because I think the Bills are in a different classes.
We honestly don't know, man, because we don't
The
have no
Bears.
defensive linemen.
Yeah,
So the
that's a
Bears
problem.
the Bears still a professional football team at the end of the day. And if you
Mhm.
if I look at my offensive line and I see 6'6", 6'5", 320 plus all across my offensive line, and I look across that line of scrimmage and I see Detroit and I see 6'2", 280, and I see
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
not gonna work, man. It's not.
yeah.
I don't even know who the hell they're gonna put out there at defensive tackle next week.
Well, because you got Anzarike, I'm thinking, like I said, I mentioned Broderick Martin, but I'm just nothing against him. I just haven't
We don't expect
expect
nothing from you. You ain't been out there.
you haven't been out there. That's all. You know what I'm saying? And is he magically going to be this great disruptor these last 3 games in the playoffs? That's a tall task. That's a lot to ask, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? With the players.
I will say
Um,
this one thing for Lions fans to give us some hope. The year the Indianapolis Colts won the Super Bowl when they beat the Chicago Bears, that Colts offense was playing great all season. Of course,
mhm,
Peyton Manning led offense is going to be great. Remember how terrible that Colts defense was, like down the stretch, and
mhm.
everybody was saying
Yeah.
that the Colts wasn't going to win the Super Bowl because that defense was so bad with Gary Brackett and Robert Mathis and Freeney and all them. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't defend the pass. Like that Colts team had a lot bad going on defense. Magically, I don't know what the hell happened, but they got into the playoffs and that defense became a strength of the team.
Yeah.
They was holding teams under 20 come playoff time. Um, in our case, I would say this: the offense is going to have to carry the lion's share of things, and you credit you
Yep.
for this. You've been right the last 2 years going to the season about offensively and defensively which sides of the ball you felt were going to be strengths early on and which was going to be weaknesses. And you said the defense was probably going to end up carrying the offense early on. Well, we looking at it now, 12
Mm-hmm.
week 15 we heading into.
Yeah.
Now the offense, y'all gonna have to hold
They
things
had
up.
to hold it up. That's
And
right.
now we looking at defense where okay, offensively, we're gonna need y'all to score, but we need y'all more importantly, time of possession. Like
Yes.
we outgained,
Yep.
like time of possession wise, we beat them. Well, they were getting quick drives, quick scoring drives, but we got them by 5.5 minutes, time of possession wise. But I
Yeah.
think like even in games like today, all it takes is to limit Buffalo by 2 possessions.
Yep.
Run the ball just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because we only had 3 rushing first downs all game, and that's
Yeah.
not us.
Does he
That's not
get?
us at all.
Yeah, Gibbs had what 31? Yeah, Gibbs had 31 yards. Well, he led us rushing. He had 31 yards. Like I said, David Montgomery, they 86'd him real quick out the game plan. I think that was part of it too. That was a good game plan by Buffalo to kind of maybe like limit, like you just said, might limit opportunities. And I think Montgomery had 4 yards rushing, if I'm not mistaken.
We had a total of 48, I think,
Yeah,
as
and
a
Gibbs had.
team.
I know Gibbs had 31 yards because I seen the stats. If my device was
Yeah, we
going
have
a little bit slow.
they
Yeah,
outrushed us 197 to 48.
yeah. See, yeah, we
Damn.
usually it's usually us doing the out. You know what I'm saying? We always outgain everybody we play. You know what I mean? But
59 pass attempts for golf.
yeah, see that
59.
was way, and that's what I was saying about the 42 points. I think at the end he threw the ball 18 straight times just to
38 completions.
yeah, so it was kind of skewed a little bit, but hey, I mean, like I said, Jared Goff wasn't a problem. Jared Goff is
No.
great. You know what I mean? Nothing. Hey, I like Sam Laporta getting involved. He's the one guy seemed like he's getting healthy more in the game plan the last 3-4 weeks. Tim Patrick again, with an unbelievable play. I like everything I see from him. I think Jameson Williams is focused. Caught a touchdown. Say what you want. What was it? St. Brown. That's what I wanted to get to. 14 catches, 193 yards. Laporta had 7 for 111. Gibbs had 5 for 83 and a touchdown. Yeah, Montgomery had 31 yards receiving and he had 4 yards rushing. So I've never seen a stat line like that with Montgomery, man. It's been a long time since. I think the Minnesota game where he fumbled once, and I think Gibbs had most of the carries in that one too. But like you said, it was bound to happen. And remember, I thought this game was going to happen last week, to be honest with you. I thought the
Against the
Green Bay
Pack.
game, I just thought that maybe, winning 10 straight, obviously, you're not going to win every single game. I was thinking maybe last week was going to game. But this game, it happened, and now it had some repercussions. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying if we as Lions fans, we got to have our antennas up now. You know what I'm saying? Because now it ain't like at first it was like us on the tree, and everybody looking up at us on the tree, at the top of the tree, right? And they like we trying to climb up there and making sure these limbs are sturdy before we get up there because we coming too. Now we say we sitting there, with the Chiefs and now the Eagles and the Vikings if they win tomorrow. I mean, it's like, man, the
I
team
want to ask you this,
they
though.
didn't close the gap a little bit.
Buffalo won today.
Yeah.
So, and then they, most importantly, they beat our pesky asses. So, the media real happy about that. So they get, Josh, you put those little Lions back in their place. But this is back-to-back games giving up over 40 points. So while Josh Allen performed great,
Yeah.
and they, he performed like a superhero, they got the win today.
Yeah.
They still gave up damn near 90 points.
They did.
In they last
Mhm.
2 games. So let's not everybody out there act like everything is just 100% peaches and cream with Buffalo. Like,
Yeah, they
I
not
don't
that
think
great.
they not do. Like, how do you bank on, well, we'll just score 40 a game? That's not going to happen in the playoffs. And I think Buffalo got their issues too. Now, the reason Buffalo gets the love over us, I think, by a lot of people is because of that man under center. Like Josh Allen is an alien out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. But I just walk away from this game, and we talked about this weeks ago at the beginning of the season about the Tampa Bay loss. How it
Yeah.
just felt like, yeah, we lost, but we just got outside of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
There was no excuse to get outside of who we were against Tampa. That game was too close to get for Goff to throw the ball 55 times.
Yeah.
Today, I got it because Josh wasn't holding us up. They was gonna keep coming along. So I get the 59 pass attempts today. But dude, Buffalo got problems.
Yeah.
That,
Defensively,
that,
they trust me.
that's not no championship defense at all.
Nah.
Why people say, "Oh, well, y'all don't have a championship quarterback," even our quarterback done been to the Super Bowl before. We don't have this, we don't have that. Buffalo not good. What was the last team that made a Super Bowl giving up points the way they've been giving up points? And I get it, they defense haven't been that bad all season, but they've been that bad the last two games. So I do think Buffalo, man, they got some things they need to discuss. Because if you thinking Josh Allen just gonna do this, the same thing with Ravens fans. A lot of them have this idea that Lamar is just gonna be superhuman Lamar every week, and that's not the way football works. That can work in basketball when you got a superstar player and that guy can just carry you through a series or whatever. But week in, week out, that's not gonna work, man. You talking about a team that then gave up damn near 90 points in their last two games and over what? Well over 1,000 yards of offense between the
Yeah.
Rams and the Lions.
Yeah.
Like that's not gonna get them to the Super Bowl neither. And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs barely being able to score. They had another weird game today with the Browns. Like so,
Yeah.
your boy he left with an ankle injury. They said
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's week to
Mahomes.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got their issues. The Eagles got an issue between a quarterback and a wide receivers. I guess not liking each other or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The Bucks. I still say the Bucks because I think the Bucks are the best team in the South. Easy,
Yeah.
even though I don't consider them to be contenders either. Green Bay they sold Jekyll and Hyde. Minnesota got Darnold out there.
Yeah.
I still think that we have just as good a chance as anybody else. Now our defense is just so depleted within the front seven. Then you start talking about losing guys in the secondary.
Yeah.
Amik Robertson was beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Vildor, he was hurt. Dorsey's gone for the year more than likely. You talking about Carlton Davis with the concussion issues. So now you need more from Rakestraw. Terrion Arnold, he's been beat up, honestly, the last, 5 weeks, battling a hamstring injury. And I get it, the injuries are piling up, but you just got to get whatever you are heading into the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
you got to maximize whatever the hell that is. The Bengals went all the way to the Super Bowl with an awful, awful offensive line. We saw the Chiefs get there with an awful offensive line. Now, both of those quarterbacks ultimately ended up losing, but you can still get there, man. It's all about the draw. We don't
Yeah,
know
that's
who we're
true.
gonna end up playing.
That's true. Man, yeah, it's just what you said. I mean, I agree. That's what I said. I don't think it's doom and gloom like the season over, even with a couple more injuries. I just think that our offense can obviously we've shown we beat everybody. You know what I mean? When we on our game, you got Gibbs who's super dynamic, man. Just every week in and week out, he shows how dangerous he is. Jameson Williams. St. Brown just keeps he's coming with St. Brown, but you can't stop it with him. It's just amazing what he's able to do at his size and like lack thereof, speed and just. But he plays bigger than everybody out there. He's the heartbeat of the offense, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like everything that happens with our offense is positive, man. It really is. You know what I mean? It's only been a couple times where they haven't answered the bell. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Tampa game where it was 5 or 6 times in the red zone and we didn't score something weird like that. But for the most part, they make it happen. And I think they're gonna have to, like you stated earlier, they have to carry us, man. It can it be a situation where this is just one loss and then it wakes us up to steamroll the rest of the way now. And I was in that category of we do need to lose one because you know what I'm saying, you don't want to wait to the playoff to lose one. I really do think that's a real scenario. You know what I mean? You want to be playing your best football, obviously, going into the playoffs.
Right.
But I'd rather not be riding an 11, 12 game winning streak. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to lose one, I mean, I guess you don't want to talk like a loser and say, well, it's okay to lose one. You know what I mean? But I think if you did lose one, I think this was the game that you can lose. You know what I'm saying? They've had
Yeah.
such a just a season where we had no adversity at all, other than the injury. Obviously the Hutch injury was the traumatic thing that happened this year, but we've still been winning. You know what I mean? That's the part that just the media can't. The national pundits, like you said, they was been waiting. They're gonna have a field day tomorrow because now you're gonna hear their lines are not any good, and they're told you this is
They're
ready.
phonies because they
Frauds.
lost.
Yeah. So you're gonna hear that narrative. You know what I mean? And I like it better when we're not. Like you always say, when teams read their own newspaper clippings, everybody telling you how good you are. I think we're better as underdog. People just doubt it. I think that comes being kings of the north and everything like that. That's all fine and dandy, of course, in our division, but in the NFL, let the NFL just have their favorites, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily have to say the Lions are good for us to, and I think it puts a chip on our shoulder still. You still
Well,
got
they're
to
gonna
play with
bury
that.
us tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at the injuries and say we done.
Yeah. Yep.
We were a cute little story.
Yeah.
And now we're finished.
Yeah. And now I said, oh man, Lord forbid if we go out and then just lose one to Chicago. Oh my goodness, it's now the sky's fault. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna be one and done then.
Yeah. So it like you said, is the season over? No, but I just don't like you come to a point to where you don't have control over these injuries, man. Like you say, you're not making that excuse. This is next man up. This is NFL, man. You know what I'm saying? The other teams do not care. You don't have Aiden Hutchinson or Derek Barnes or you know what I'm saying? And hopefully not Carlton Davis now. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully not Aleem McNeil. Hopefully it's not as bad. Maybe they might miss the next couple games. You know what I'm saying? Or who knows? But like again, we could put a bow on this show tonight and just talk about what happened on the field, and we pretty much stated what really happened. Josh Allen was. Well, Josh Allen wasn't having it today, man. He, good day at the office for Josh. Josh played, he he played well. He really did. You got to give credit. The credit is due, and it looks like these two teams could play again. You know what I mean? But I think it's going to be a lot harder than what people realize. That what I'm saying, like for the Lions to get there with all these injuries. But you did good journalism by you bringing up the Colts. That because I do think it is something to a team that can score at will, and I think the Lions can do that. I think if we got even like you said, this game we was down. What was it? Wasn't 35-14 at one point, and we still kind of made it close a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's saying a lot right there. It didn't go to 49-17. That wasn't the you know what I'm saying? It didn't. And then for everybody that wants to like blame Dan Campbell, like I said, I didn't like the going for it. I mean the onside kick. I didn't. Did it cost us the game? I don't want to say it cost us the game, but I can say it killed the momentum. It's almost like you on the dance floor and the DJ done played 5 or 6 great songs, bangers, and then he play a couple duds, and then everybody get off the floor, right? That was sort of like what happened. You know what I mean? Like everybody ain't dancing no more, bro. You got to change it now.
So Dan went out there with his own personal albums.
yeah, and just messed it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I down by 10, like you said, Water was 20. You didn't. It wasn't desperate. Yeah, you wasn't desperate yet, and it was still a lot of game going on. What if you go down and remember they had missed a chip shot field goal? Maybe you go down there again, and even though Bass a damn good kicker, but you miss a field goal. Anything can happen in an NFL game, man. You know what I'm saying? So that part of it, he just killed the momentum. I don't think it cost us the game, but it just looked real silly though because now you're gonna get it in there. What was it? Football night in America. They was already on NBC. There's already saying like, why in the hell would you do that?
Rodney
You know what I mean?
Harrison.
Yeah,
Rodney gonna me not use that word, but Rodney gonna hit you over your head, man.
yeah. Wait till ESPN, like you said, they gonna really, tear Dan up, and the going for it in a fourth down. I think it was they showed a stat during the game with Sean McDermott was he's 8 for 8 on going for it on fourth down this year. You know what I'm saying? The play they made, remember the Ty Johnson play, they made it it was what, the 30 yards down the field, man, on fourth down. So I don't think the fourth down stuff is as bad as what people are making it out to be. Today was bad. I was screaming at the T. I was yelling at the T. I couldn't believe he was doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? It was just no need for it. It was just you was acting desperate when it wasn't even desperation time. You didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
12 minutes.
yeah.
It was like I said, I get it. The defense was to me it seems like now he's coaching from a standpoint of protecting his defense. Like, I'll give you a half, I'll give you 3/4 to figure it out. If you guys don't figure it out by the fourth quarter, I'm gonna take over and start coaching this way and start coaching offensively, defensively. But like I said, it was a game. It was just a game to me. It was a game. We all knew it was going to happen. They caught us when they caught us. We had been playing defensively. We had been playing above our heads for a while, riding a lot of momentum. And this was a game that it just didn't work out for us. But we go out against the Bears next week, a divisional opponent on the road. We don't necessarily know what to really expect from them. You look at Buffalo. Who else? The Tennessee Titans ran the ball on us. The Houston Texans, they had a decent first half on us offensively.
Yeah.
They did what they did against. I think there's also something to be handed to playing an AFC opponent and not knowing anything about them also, because we don't really know nothing about Buffalo.
Of course. I think that does. And a friend of mine text me, he did say the same thing, and I think it is something to it. Not that you make an excuse, but like you said, it's tape on Josh Allen. Obviously, the Lions did their homework. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, I do think it is something to where if you're familiar with an opponent or not, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like they catch you by surprise, But it's frustrating too. It did seem like, and it's due to the offensive line. I mean, the defensive line being hurt. It just seemed like James Cook, they gave him the ball at the right spot every time, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was like every time James Cook got the ball, he got 5, 6. He was gassed, got the long touchdown run. You know what I'm saying? They played well. I give him credit. Like, I give credit when it's due. Buffalo, they was ready, man. You know what I'm saying? They like, we ain't having it today. So, but I turn around, just like you said, Super Bowl for them. They defense ain't that great either. You know what I mean? They got an all-world quarterback. I mean, their defense gave up a lot of passing yards. A lot of like they're quick, they're feisty. I think the defensive line, Ed Oliver, what's the Russo at linebacker. I like Tyrell Bernard. Always a good player. But they have it. They got Josh Allen, man. You know what I mean? And I think just like Patrick Mahomes with Kansas City, when you got a quarterback of that caliber, you already like got an advantage going into every game, pretty much. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens.
So when I ask you, we don't have to be completely healthy. There is no such thing as being completely healthy, I think, at this point in time in the year moving forward.
Yep.
Hutchinson ain't walking through that door. Davenport ain't walking through that door. Barnes ain't walking through that door. Elaine might not be walking through that door.
Right.
But do we feel like, because you're never as good as your best game and you're never as bad as your worst. Are we really that team that destroyed Jacksonville the way we destroyed Jacksonville? Probably not. But we jumped on Jacksonville and handled Jacksonville the way we supposed to.
Yeah.
Are we as bad as at least defensively as we showed today? Possible.
Mhm.
Because to your credit, if this is what we got left to keep putting out there on defense for the next 3 games,
Right.
heading into the playoffs, this might be as bad as we are. Because now,
Right.
like, what do you now you're putting the pressure on your safeties and your corners to go out there and get turnovers. And you can't just go tell the safety, well, maybe you could tell Ed Reed. But for the most part, you can't just go tell a safety, hey man, I need you to go get me 2 interceptions today. Okay, boss. Like you could tell Ed Reed that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
Facts.
gets to a point where, Kirby's not making those plays, Branch not making those plays right now. You got corners getting nicked up and beat up. Mosley was cleared to play 30 days ago,
Yeah.
damn near, and he's still. Because remember, prior 3 days before the Green Bay game, Campbell came out and said, "Oh yeah, he's good to go." He said
Mhm.
that Monday. Oh, he's good to go for Thursday. And then
Yeah.
what happened Thursday? That boy was scratched.
Yeah.
So like we need him back. But I can't even honestly, I can't even say that because we don't know what he's gonna give us, if anything. Like,
Yeah.
dude played 1 possession against Carolina last year, and that was it. And
Yeah.
then now we stuck feeling like you Markel Fultz or Ben Simmons, how we gotta hear every single day about how you might play and you might not play and you ready to go, but no, we're gonna pull you back. It's like, and I get fans' frustration. I was reading in the comment section on social media after the game. People was talking about Emmanuel Mosley, how big of a disappointment he's been, and why isn't he playing? And we need him down the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't even consider that guy right now, man.
Yeah.
I,
And
I
there's no
consider
right.
who's here to play. Like,
Who's here to play? That's
dude,
how I feel about it too. Okay, well, I'm just looking at this depth chart. Okay. It was weird. Now Muhammad didn't play for some reason. I didn't get that either. Like Muhammad was on the sideline holding his helmet. I don't get why he wasn't playing. He's been the one guy that can get pressure. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, okay. Our defensive depth chart right now, and I know you probably got it at your disposal. Okay. One side you got Zadarius Smith and El Quadin,
Al
excuse me.
Kadeem.
Yeah, El Kadim, excuse me, Muhammad. On the other side, you got, oh my goodness. I mean, it's all Q's, R's, O's on next by all these guys' names, man. It's ridiculous. Even Trevor Nowaski didn't play. You know what I mean? Another guy that's been out there, the last 4 or 5 weeks played decent football. He ain't been out there. Ben Naaman played today. Jack Campbell, Ezekiel Turner, uh
Yeah, this dude
Josh
look
Pratt.
bad.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just going off of, okay, you telling me we got the Bears, 49ers, and Vikings coming up. I'm looking at our depth chart. We got Smith, we got El Kadim Muhammad, we got DJ Reader, Levi Onzarike, Josh Pascal, Pat O'Connor, Jonah Williams. And that's it, man. That's it on that. That's defensive line. Linebacker, okay. Ben Neiman, Jack Campbell, Ezekiel Turner, Quan Alexander, David Long. Okay. Uh yeah, secondary's okay. But yeah, then looking at Vildor play every snap reminded me of last year, man. You know what I mean? I don't like Kendall Vildor playing and starting the game. I just don't. You know what I mean? And to me, it looks like last year now. It looks now all this we came all this way from last year. We damn near back to what we was last year. You know what I'm saying? Just look at the. I'm just telling everybody that's watching the show, look at the depth chart, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
And what everybody's saying, what we're gonna do, well, we'll be okay. We're gonna okay. I'm just telling y'all, we not getting none of these guys back, man. You know what I
Oh no,
mean? That
trust me. We
you
not
know,
about wishful thinking on this show. We
yeah,
we're gonna be as honest with people as possible. And some of it was wishful thinking over the past 12 weeks. Because at the end of the day, if you winning, it's only so much you can really talk negatively about a team if they win. If they would have pulled it out
of
today,
course.
if they
It
would have
wouldn't have
found a
been.
way.
it
Right. If they
would be a
would have got
different
that last
narrative.
onside kick, if they would have got that last onside kick and Goff
It'd
would have
be
got a couple
different.
throws at the end zone and they would have magically won, people would kind of view it differently.
Yeah.
But you're only as good as your last game, and I get it, man. Looking at this depth chart, I want to go through it too because you're talking about defensive line.
Yeah.
As far as nose tackles, right now you're talking about DJ Reader. Reader's gutting it out as hard as he can. He's
Mhm.
struggling. His running mate, Aleem McNeil, you broke that earlier. He may be done for the season. Broderick Martin, we can't expect anything out of him. Honestly, he's still a project. Levi Wuzarike, he's too small to really hold up in the role that they need him to hold up in right now. Pretty much being 6'2", 290, 285.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can almost pencil him in to be in and out of the lineup. You brought up Jonah Williams, they brought in Zadarius Smith, Al Kadeem Muhammad. That looks really bad. And if you just let's just scratch Aleem out of there right now
Yeah.
and scratch DJ out of because DJ gutting it out with that shoulder injury.
Yeah.
He's gonna get double teamed a whole lot more if he even plays next week or even after that. He's gonna be a non-factor. So even if he's out there, Reader will probably be a non-factor because the job he's here to do, the guys around him can't benefit off of it. He was brought here to make Aiden Hutchinson better
Yeah.
and make Aleem McNeil better on the interior of that defensive line. And neither one of those guys there, you talking about him making Al Kadeem Muhammad better or a 34-year-old Zadarius Smith better or Ben Neiman or Ezekiel Turner. I get it, man. Nobody expected it to be this way. And then if you go to the cornerback position, Carlton Davis been toughing it out, but he left with a concussion issue. Khalil Dorsey probably done for the season. Meek Robertson, he's been put into a situation now where he needs to be a starter. Terrion Arnold, they can't really avoid Carlton Davis anymore and just go at Terrion. We in a rough situation right now, man.
Yeah.
And
And we could get Anzalone back. I mean, he's the one guy. Anzalone is coming back. You know what I'm saying, for the playoffs. So that's a plus. But like I said, Anzalone's one guy. You know what I'm saying. But I do like that he will be coming back. You know what I'm saying. It's great. So yeah, that's all. I'm just looking at it and putting pen to paper, writing it down, looking at it, seeing what the heck we got, and it just looked bleak. That's all. Just from the injury standpoint, like I said. But the one thing is, we still got our offense. You know what I'm saying? And we can still score. Period. We can still run the football. I mean, that travels. It don't matter where we at. We know we can run the ball. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do have going. A lot of teams can't say that. A lot of teams can't say, well, we can just run the ball at will. You know what I mean? Today, did we do it? No. But I think today was a different kind of start to the game. I do think teams want to knock the Lions out of their first quarter rhythm because remember, we see Montgomery probably the first two drives of the game. Then Gibbs gets his turn. You know what I'm saying? And then today they immediately had to scrap that first, look how they wanted to run things because they was down quick, and it totally, uh, you know, made us play catch up, and we were doing some other things. So yeah, I mean, if we had to put a bow on this show tonight about this game, yeah, it was ugly. We knew, and we both knew one of the. We said it like, who's going to be the team to beat the Lions, right? We remember we were saying that, like, yeah, it's going to be Packers, it's going to be the Bears, it's going to be Buffalo, Texans. Remember, we both was kind of like Buffalo game. You kind of got to look at that one, but we think they can beat Buffalo, but it could be one of them weird games, which it was. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it doesn't change my opinion of Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff was fine. Today, man. I thought really on the back of my head, back of my mind, I'm thinking like maybe Goff, maybe like not effective or something, or throws a couple picks or a pick. So I'm thinking that in my head. You know what I mean? Before the game, but Jared Goff's fine. You know what I mean? Jared do what he need to do. Scramble for a first down. He constantly found open man. He was using the short game a lot. The last touchdown maybe was a gimme a little bit to kind of make the score look better, but still, it is what it is. Like I said, Goff was fine to me. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
yeah.
While my dog upstairs barking, but yeah, it's like I said. I understand it's gonna be a rough game to handle. Problem is Dan Campbell gave these people ammunition. If Campbell would have never made that call, what would it have really been to talk about tomorrow morning? Because looking at the defense, people can jump all over the defense, but unless you're just being blind to the fact that, okay, this is a team that has a complete mass unit of injuries and have had a linebacking core completely destroyed, as well as the defensive tackle room completely destroyed by injuries. But people who don't want to look at things rationally, they'll just look at it tomorrow and say, "Oh, the Lions are frauds. Their defense is terrible." They won't bring
Of
up
course.
the fact that the
Right.
fact that there were guys who had only been in Detroit for the last 3 weeks
Yeah.
playing serious roles, man. And like we have no size in the middle. And I think that's going to be ultimately, if this team does have a demise in the divisional round or wild card round or NFC championship or even Super Bowl for that matter, I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Because typically in football, man, bigger man wins. Especially when you talking about playoff time comes, you're talking about playing outdoors. Most teams, they're gonna run the ball more in the playoffs for the most part. Even teams that throw the ball tremendously in the regular season, they're gonna run the ball in the playoffs a whole lot more. And you want to be able to lean on teams, But if you can't do that, remember the defensive line, the line of scrimmage was kind of like our calling card.
That's right. That's
And
right.
when we compared us to the Kansas City Chiefs earlier in the season, it was okay. You know what? The reason we think we can beat the Chiefs is because we're better at the line of scrimmage. Our offensive line's better than theirs. At that point in time, before Hutchinson and Davenport got hurt, our defensive line was better than theirs overall. Now, Chris Jones may be the best player out of those two units, but overall, at the line of scrimmage, we were better. 12, 13 weeks later, we can't really say that anymore, man. But like I said, man, there's still a lot more season to go. We got 3 games left, and then you're talking about the playoffs coming up. So I think all we honestly need to do before we get out of here, I'm gonna get your opinion on this. 3 games left. What do they need to do? Finish 1-2, 3-0,
Good question.
2-1.
I would say the Lions got to win out to me. You know what I'm saying? To get, because my goal is not only the division, but I want to get the home field. You know what I'm saying? I want to get. I think the home field advantage would do us some good if we didn't have to travel. We could just play every game at Ford Field. 2 games to get to the Super Bowl as opposed to 3, and then maybe 2, and then 1 on the road. So I would say the Lions got to win out, man, because if you look at it, you cannot go into the same record as Minnesota that last game. You got to be ahead of Minnesota. And if it comes a situation where looking at the Vikings, they're playing the Bears obviously tomorrow, and then they got the Seahawks next Sunday. They got the Packers coming up December 29th. So those are 2 games right there the Vikings could lose actually, and to the Lions. So yeah, I mean, could we afford another loss? Of course, we could lose one more, and think. But I think Philly may win out, and I want to try to be. I want to win. I'm looking at Philly's schedule right quick here. Well, Philly's playing. Their next game is. Oh, excuse me here. Yeah, here they go right here. Philly's playing the Commanders next week. Okay. So you got Philly playing the Commanders, then they play the Cowboys and Giants. So Eagles could win out. You know what I mean? You don't want to be it right now. We tied, but we got the tiebreaker over the Eagles right now. So we finished with the same record. We'll have the tiebreaker over the Eagles. So we got to go 3-0, Walt. Anything less would be a disappointment. To not get the number 1 seed at this point would be like a gut punch, you know what I mean, for us right now. So
I'm gonna say this too. It's been very, very beneficial for us to get it because not to say we can't beat any of these teams, but if we finish with that number 2 seed, it's probably right now looking at the percentages, it's a 95% chance we're gonna end up playing either Minnesota or Green Bay in the first round if we finish with that number 2 seed. And like, do you, even though we swept Green Bay, do you really want to play them again? Like
nope,
that is a
not a
divisional
third
opponent,
time.
right?
Nope.
So also dealing with that, a divisional opponent, but I just think that, man, I think what's gonna happen is they may lose one more game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think they finished, was it 14-3?
14-3. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, and
between the
and
Bears, because like you don't have a defensive line. I think it's not about us not believing in the team or whatever. It's the fact
yeah,
that
of course,
you don't have a defensive line. like that's common. Like whether it's the Bears that's gonna get you, even San Francisco. You look at the bad season Frisco's had, the underwhelming season the Niners have had. You give Shanahan a defensive line with no defensive tackles. I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan can put together an offensive game plan to score 20 plus points. So when you don't have any defensive tackles, you can lose to anybody. That's like not having any offensive tackles.
Right.
You know, so I have a strange feeling they're gonna lose one more game. I don't think it's gonna be the Minnesota. I think they just gonna be too up for Minnesota. But we got to get some guys back too.
Yeah. And that's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? We'll see more tomorrow. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting tomorrow. Walter press conference. I think all ears are gonna be on what Campbell says. You know, in the press conference.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So player updates. You know, people probably questioning his call with the onside kick. That's gonna be interesting to see. You know, which reporter had a stones to ask him. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? So, it's interesting. I mean, a little bit of drama we got to end the season. We've been on cruise control, man. We've been on since Hutch went out. Dude, we've been on cruise control, basically. You know what I'm saying? So now we got a little bit of adversity. You know what I'm saying? And the bright side is we still got our offense. You know what I'm saying? So that can make up for, like, to beat a team like Green Bay. Like right now, we see Seattle, they down 17-3. I don't think Seattle's potent enough to even stay with a team like the Packers. The Lions can. That's the thing that the Lions, like Minnesota, they dangerous hell because they can score, right, at will. The Lions can. You know what I mean? I think that's what they have going for them. Like, if you look at, like, the Rams, the Cardinals, Tampa, they offenses ain't like that. I mean, the Rams could be, but they got a lot of injury. Puka been in and out of the lineup. They offense hasn't been. They've been banged up all year. So what I'm saying is that it still comes down to scoring, getting the ball in the end zone, and the Lions can still do that. So
definitely. All right. So before we get out of here, give y'all an update on the playoff seedings right now. Currently, Detroit's still in first place in the NFC right now at 12-2. Philadelphia right now in second place at 12-2 as well. Of course, you come in the tiebreakers and everything. That's why that loss today to Buffalo, it wasn't a double loss.
Right.
If we would have lost to an NFC team now, we might be sort of in trouble. But currently, Seattle right now sitting at third at 8-5. Tampa Bay is fourth at 8-6. The Vikings are 11-2 at 5. Packers 9-4 at 6. And the Washington Commanders still in the hunt right now, sitting at the number 7 spot with a record of 9-5. So excitement down the stretch. We got 3 games before the playoffs get started. Can our Detroit Lions hold off the Philadelphia Eagles and get that number 1 seed? We got 3 weeks to find out. A lot of action coming up. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight after a Detroit Lions loss. Keep your heads up because this team is still solid. They just got to make some adjustments on defense. What adjustments? We'll get into that early next week on what we think this team can do to kind of salvage the defense a little bit and take a little bit of heat off the offense. But till next time, enjoy your week coming up. One Pride.